Why would a Viking princess breastfeed her own father in the middle of a battlefield? The truth behind this moment shocked every warrior who witnessed it, and it changed the fate of a nation. The wind howled across the cliffs of Northumbria as flames rose from burning villages. The year was 879, and in the chaos of a Viking invasion, one woman's courage would carve her name into legend. Her name was Ira Wolfheart, a British-born woman raised among Vikings, a daughter of two worlds, and a fighter feared on both seas. From childhood, Ira trained not for crown or glory, but for freedom. Freedom for her land, freedom for her people, and freedom for her family, especially her father, Lord Alistair, once a proud commander who had grown frail after months of famine and injuries. When the war horns blared that morning, Ira rushed to the front lines, blades in hand, her hair braided in the Viking warrior's knot. The enemy struck like thunder, pushing the British defenders back step by step. Ira fought like a storm, leaping, slashing, refusing to surrender an inch. But then, through the smoke and bodies, she saw him, her father, collapsed, breathing shallow, starving so weak he couldn't lift his own sword. He had lost too much blood, days without food, hours without water. If he didn't receive nourishment soon, he would die. Even the medics shook their heads. He cannot swallow solid food, one whispered. He may not survive the hour. Ira fell to her knees beside him, cradling his face. Father, daughter, fight. Leave me. But she refused. Tears filled her eyes. Her mind raced, searching for anything that could keep him alive. And then she remembered. Her child had died months earlier during winter sickness, but her body had not fully stopped producing milk. And that milk, the one thing she still carried from her child, was rich, warm, life-sustaining, enough to keep a starving man alive. In that moment, Ira faced a choice no warrior, no daughter, should ever face. Save him with the only nourishment she had, or watch her father die at her feet. Arrows hissed around her. Swords clashed only a few meters away. Yet Ira shielded her father's body with her own, tore open part of her armor, and brought him close. Not out of shame, not out of weakness, but out of pure, desperate, unstoppable love. She let him drink just enough to keep him conscious, just enough so he could survive long enough to be carried to safety. Warriors who saw it stood frozen. Enemies hesitated. Even battle-hardened Vikings whispered, "A daughter who feeds her father with her own body. Such devotion belongs in the sagas." Strength returned to Lord Alistair's eyes. Not enough to fight, but enough to live. With a roar like thunder, Ira lifted him onto her back and fought her way out of the battlefield, slashing anyone who dared block her path. Her bravery ignited her troops. A broken army suddenly stood tall, and a retreat turned into a counterattack. By sunset, the invaders were driven back to their ships. Ira Wolfheart, the woman mocked for being too British for Vikings and too Viking for the British, had just saved them both. Years later, bards sang of that day. A warrior by blood, a daughter by heart, a savior by sacrifice. Ira herself never spoke of it. To her, it wasn't heroic. It was simple. "A father gave me life," she said, "so I returned it." And that is why a Viking princess breastfed her own father on a battlefield, not out of shame, but out of love stronger than war itself. If stories like this move you, if you want more legends of courage, sacrifice, and the human heart, then join our journey. Subscribe to Narrowcrest, where every tale leaves a mark.